Hey, y'all, let's do a little history. You see the title going on here, and I'm quite sure you probably seen um, a, um, a community post that I made yesterday with Hermann Goering. He ran the Luftwaffe, the Air Force, for the Third Reich under Adolf Schicklgruber, the Austrian that took over Germany and half the region. Well, we're going to take a step back. We're going to cover that, and y'all see where it says, now Hermann Goering, he said it on he had it in writing, it's in pamphlets, and then, you had Joseph Goebbels, and, minister of propaganda, and all these other guys over there. But Goering was an actual person that, he was a fighter race, fighter pilot and what all this other stuff before he became, the commander of the Luftwaffe and a member. He got to sit and stand right next to the guy in the big chair, not behind him, next to him. And he was there doing all the stuff, Crystal Knock and Night of the Long Knives and the Beer Hall Push and all that other good stuff. And yeah, the Crystal Knock, man. Whoo. And I'm telling you, from living in Germany, and I've been to Berlin, been to Nuremberg more times I can count, but being I was in Bamberg and Schweinfurt, then I've been all over the place. Stuttgart, I've been all over Mainz, Mainz Castell, Kaiserslautern. Man, I've been all over Germany. When it was West Germany, because East Germany, that East verboten, yeah, that was still, you know, the Gewehr over there. Them was the bad guys. But with their little Trabant, little two cycle Trabant smoking, there was some weird little cars. U2 used them in their video one, and but that Octung baby, Octung means excuse me. That was that era. But now Germany is too late. They didn't realize they screwed up by listening to my boy Ronaldus Magnus saying, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. Let's stick to this here. Guns before butter. That what is look, during Germany's loss in World War One, and then the signing of the treaty, the deal with Vienna and all this other stuff, they realized they screwed themselves off. So basically, yeah, you got butter, but you don't have guns. You have no security. You have no might. You are the weak sister in the region. Now I said, guns will make you powerful. Butter only makes you fat. See, think of butter as a way to appease. I'll keep you fat, dumb, and happy. Here, have another stick of butter. So, I mean, there's butter. I guess you can use it kind of like a metaphor. But I know Goebbels said something like, now I know I may not get it exactly word for word, but I'm not going to be that far off. But it's something like the people of Germany, or what do you say, or the fatherland, or something, for the most part can do without butter. But despite, what do you say, like despite their, because I got it in my, a lot of things is don't translate over right, but I'm just this, like, despite our love or yearning for peace, we cannot do without arms. You can't shoot with butter. You can't protect. you can't protect your people, your nation with butter, but you can with guns. Guns will make us powerful. Butter will only make us fat. And they attribute it to Hermann Goering, even, because I say, because I think I guess being that he said it on the radio station, so people heard him say it first, but I guess people in the inner circle, has heard Joseph Goebbels say it first. And and also he was saying, he made that statement saying like the powers that be didn't want to face up, to the sacrifices that's required to become a powerful nation. Some people would rather be meek. Think it's safety in being meek. There is no safety in being meek, because you will get ran over. That old you can be the ostrich and put your head in a hole in the ground. Guess what? The lion is going to eat him anyway. Like the lion gonna say, "Oh crap, I can't attack him," and then the mother lion, "Why not?" Well, because he put his head in a hole in the ground. Now let's go a step further back. The one I started to put up predates those guys, even though they know who he was because he was the president of the area. But anyway, the guy you're looking at right now, that's because the guns before butter go back a step and to blood and iron. Okay, the guy you looking at on the screen is Otto von Bismarck. Okay, Blut und Eisen. Yeah, blood and iron. Now they play that too. Well, he wasn't the first one to say Eisen und Blut. Okay, look, I'm quite sure everybody said something, but Bismarck, this guy he was not to be trifled with. And to give you a little bit of, he said that during a speech. He said that during a speech in the 1800s. And see, this is why I hate not looking at actual numbers, because I'll say he said it in 1864, and somebody, oh no, actually he said it in late 61, early 62, so we're going to throw all your comments out. But anyway, I'm just going to let them do it. I'm not going to argue with them people. But he said that he was the president of Prussia at the time. And it was about the unification he was unifying Germany, what we know today is Germany, or the German territories. And he was well known for putting that in towards the end of his speech. And it has something to do with the government, the powers that be at the time, like the Prussian House. They refused to give him an increase of military spending that the Kaiser wanted. Wilhelm the First wanted it. I'm trying to keep my brain rolling. I'm sorry, y'all, but he was appointed. He appointed and Wilhelm appointed Bismarck as like the foreign minister, if you will. And Bismarck was talking to the people that's over the purse strings, the Prussian House, and stressed it, and was, like, hey, we need funding to for the military, for training and equipment. Blood and iron is what is going to keep our country our conquest straight strong and together. And you know the blood thing, that's war. You know what I mean? Blood and iron. Okay, you can sit back, you can shed blood, or you can arm yourself. Your choice. Well, you can shed blood in combat. Okay, but if you just sit back and just get slaughtered, you're not even going to have a chance. Only thing you're going to do is shed blood. That's it. Bismarck had no, he was, look, we're going to have to go to war to keep Germany together. If we're going to expand, we're going to expand our power, our global reach. Well, we can't, we can't get, have global power until we get regional. I think the actual term for it is continental power, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think that's my, if my memory serves me well. But anyway, Otto von Bismarck, that's that dude right there. And they, I know they have different titles, minister or president or whatever the hell, but you know that's him. That's Otto von Bismarck, and he was also the Prince of Bismarck. This dude, he wasn't no joke either. He was in. If you read all the readings and you look at all the documents, he was stronger than the Kaiser. He was stronger than the Kaiser, and I know he became the Chancellor of the North German Confederation. And I know they fought, of course, France. You know, so what we call them surrender monkeys. We always got. There was always a joke when I was in Germany. They say you could buy World War II French rifles cheap. They say never fired and all and only and drop once and never fired. Military issue French rifles. That was a saying over there in Germany. But I know Bismarck, Germany went to war with France, Denmark, and Austria. I know that. And of course, Germany done what Germany done. Prussia was just crushing that area there, and Bismarck was the man behind it. See, a lot of time, guys tell people you wouldn't have if there was no Frederick, if there was no Crown Prince Frederick Wilhelm, Friedrich Wilhelm, there would be no Otto. There'd be no Otto von Bismarck. There would have been no Leopold. There wouldn't have been Leopold. There wouldn't have been this. It wouldn't have Bismarck. You wouldn't have the Kaiser. You wouldn't have the Kaiser. You wouldn't have Hitler. I mean, people. These people stood on other people's shoulders, and we did the same thing in the United States. But a lot of people don't know who the people were that they were standing on their shoulders. Oh, and I didn't learn this until I was living in Germany. Most of your what we call today your welfare state stuff, you know, working class and socialism and all this other stuff, Bismarck had a lot of that in place. A lot. I'll have to literally look up and get the actual details, but I remember that. And Bismarck, he was a big hero of the German nationalists, and it was he's been credited by a lot of scholars in the region as being the founder of the Reich. Now I need to do another video on the first, second, and third Reich, because everybody knows the third Reich, but they keep forget they don't pay no attention to the ones before it. Oh hell, let me see. I know I'm gonna get numbers wrong, so I'm not even gonna give numbers. I'm not even gonna give dates. Anybody want to nail it down, they can look at it. The the First Reich in your history books, in common history, your First Reich is going to be the Holy Roman Empire. During the Middle Ages, Western and that central, Western Central Europe part, um, towards the end of the Napoleonic Wars. Um, I know Bohemia, Italy, Burgundy. Y'all know where Burgundy is, and then of course Germany. They were all part of that there. King Charlemagne. Remember we is talking about saying, remember when that dummy Charlemagne the donkey said, he just used because it sound cute and he didn't even know who Charlemagne was. uh, Charlemagne, he was the emperor, and I know that for fact. And Pope Leo the Third crowned Charlemagne king, and therefore he became the emperor. And that was your Western Roman Empire right there. I do remember that. Now the Second Reich over in Germany, they don't call it the Second Reich. I think everybody outside of Germany calls it the Second Reich, because when I was in Germany, they refer to it as Imperial Germany. They don't call, you say Second Reich, they look at you like what did you say? You know what I mean? It's the German Reich, the Imperial Germany, or the German Empire. You don't say Second Reich. Um, but I know it was all with the exception of Austria, it was all the South German states, Bavaria on up. And I was just talking about him, Wilhelm the First, King of Prussia. He was the Kaiser, and Berlin was the capital, which that ain't never really changed. And then they changed the name. You weren't minister president. You kind of but you were the chancellor, which pretty much means the same thing, but you got a little more spread. You got a little more power. And I know during the time they were still fighting the Franco-Prussian War. I know you guys have heard of that. And I know it was, see, because I'll say a date and then somebody, oh, that's wrong, your date is wrong. It was the late 1800s. How about that? It was the late 1800s. And I know it was the German Empire at that time was 26 states, and it was the late 1800s. And I'll stop there. So don't nobody say, well, we're going all that stuff you said was true, but we're gonna throw it out over a couple of dates. But yeah, but the Franco-Prussian War was in full swing, and I know Bismarck, because the Germans made a battleship called the Bismarck, and Wilhelm the Second, he removed Otto von Bismarck. He removed him. And but Germany had got so damn powerful at the time, if I'm not mistaken, their naval force was only second to the Brits. See, because back then, if you controlled the waters, you can control large swaths of land and countries, especially landlocked countries. And Germany's landlocked, so you have to fight. You have to get stuff. And this is also towards the end of we know what Franco-Prussian War, then World War One, and Of course, France, Austria, Hungary, the Triple Alliance with Italy. Oh, I'm forgetting somebody. Um, oh yeah, Hindenburg. He was coming into power, but that was short lived. Um, that's a long story in itself. Um, then of course the 1918 revolution. We've all um, we all know about that. And then one of my favorite composers died during this time. Claude Debussy. Debussy died during the war. He was in Paris while and it was being bombarded. It was being artillery shelled. Hey, can't spell party without arty by the Germans at the time when what was it, May 20? Because they even say it in the song. They even got it. I mean, I knew that before the Art of Noise came out with the album, The Seduction of Claude Debussy, Holy Egoism of Genius. If you don't have that album, you're doing yourself a great disservice. When they say when Debussy died in Paris, France, I think it's March 21st, 1918. It was being bombarded by the Germans and it was raining. But anyway, with the loss of the war, Bulgaria surrendering, Austria-Hungarian deal, of course, falling apart, the failed spring offensive, Germans in retreat, Hitler got shot, because remember, he was a regular soldier, and the story goes that his friend got hit in the face with sniper fire right next to him, and that kind of effed him up mentally and whatnot. But that was your second Reich. Like I said, well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't want to make this a hour-long thing. And then, of course, the Third Reich, Adolph, Joseph, Goering, all the what was that? The Mengele, his crazy ass, and like I say, the beer hall push, night of the long knives, Crystal Knock, Achtung Juden verboten. All right, look, we about ready to go down. This shit about ready to go down. Y'all need to get y'all asses out of Germany. If you still here past this date, oh, MF and well. Same thing with Poland, and they done the cause Germany and Poland, and a lot of people don't know there was a lot of concentration camps that they weren't in Germany. They were in lands that Germany conquered. That pulled under. Poland being one of them. Our y'all didn't heard me say it. Arbeit macht frei. Work will set you free. That's what it said in the wrought iron. I think I got a picture of it somewhere in here. Pictures. I got some pictures, man. Oh man, I got some pictures. Just like the famous camp that everybody talks about is Auschwitz, and a lot of people don't know Auschwitz isn't in Germany. Auschwitz is in Poland. And what? You'd be surprised how many people think that Auschwitz is in Germany. And it's not. It's in Poland. There's quite a few. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was like 30 some or more camps that were in German occupied countries and not in Germany itself. I mean, 30 some. I'll look it up after I do this, but if I do, I'll put some footnotes. But it's like 40 some odd concentration camps in Poland. Well, Poland, I mean, from a geographic standpoint, if you look at a map, and that's something else about all this stuff too. If you don't have a good grasp on geography, and that's no diss, ain't none of this stuff of this. You'll understand with the technology of the day why certain places were more attractive to excuse me, to use than others. You know, how to get across, how traverse land. If we got to go through mountains, oh hell no, that's too hard. Flatlands is easier. The weather, weather patterns and all this other good stuff. Because they were clearing out the Jewish ghettos, and yeah, that's where ghetto came from. And the SS was in charge of that. That the SA didn't have that was the SS's baby right there. And they literally leapfrogged their camps out of Germany. They would build like temporary camps and would literally leapfrog them across the Rhineland into Poland, into the bigger camps. How about that? That's crazy. But anyway, just wanted to throw that in because I'll put up stuff, and find a meme and put it up or something, and then it looks kind of catchy or whatnot. I'm like, man, I need to start doing some videos where I'm showing the some of the history, if I can, behind some of this stuff that I'm putting in here. But anyway, your First Reich is the Holy Roman Empire, and you can start from there. But the names you want to look at: Wilhelm I, Wilhelm II, Otto von Bismarck, Leopold, Adolph, of course, Goebbels, Goering, these guys. I mean, Queen Augusta, Crown Prince Frederick Wilhelm. I mean, the Pope Leo III. I mean, it's so many people that ties in and make this thing what it is today. And they literally made Europe what you see today, and has a lot to do with American culture too, because you got tons of Germans that left, and the United States took a lot of German scientists and put them into our system. There were tons of Nazi officers that fled to South America, and they lived a good life and died. Yeah, some of them were found out and brought to court and executed. And I mean, what are you gonna? Okay, you putting a 94-year-old German officer on trial? To me, that's just a dick waving contest. But anyway, your Karl Henrichs and your, like I saying, Friedrich the Thirds and Wilhelm the First and Second and like saying Bismarck and all these guys. I mean, there's a lot of history out here. We'll pick another region next time. All right. Auf Wiedersehen.